2020 Mercedes EQ 400 to 2020 Mercedes EQ SUV, 2020 Mercedes EQ electric SUV, new cars by. Welcome to our car blog. This time we will be share information about the latest cars is coming Mercedes brand. The title of an article we take is 2020 Mercedes EQ 400 to 2020 Mercedes EQ SUV, 2020 Mercedes EQ electric SUV, new cars by. We will be try discuss details about this car, ranging from reviews, concept, redesign, rumors, exterior, interior, specs, changes, engine, colors, pictures, release date and also prices. Congratulations to read and we hope you enjoy it and then we'll come back again here. 2020 Mercedes EQ 400 to 2020 Mercedes EQ SUV, 2020 Mercedes EQ electric SUV, new cars by. The 2020 Mercedes EQC is the first battery-based SUV in the Mercedes. It will arrive in the second half of 2019 but we have already been aboard. It promises about 400 HP and 400 kilometers of autonomy. The electric SUV 2020 Mercedes EQC could debut in 2019 to be on sale in 2020. The development of Mercedes' first electric SUV seems to be a good point, as shown by the photos of the prototype in action on the snow-capped roads taken by Auto Express, above. The model should call it Mercedes EQC when it will debut on the market in 2 years. The Mercedes EQC, which should be similar in size to the current Mercedes GLC, will be tasked with challenging Jaguar I-Pace, Audi E-Tron Quattro, Tesla Model Y and the future BMW 9 in the electric crossover segment that is being formed in the market. The EQ will be a family of electric cars and the next model to that of this page should be the EQA. Built with a conventional steel self-supporting body, the Mercedes EQC uses a specific platform in which flat batteries occupy the entire floor. However, the points of attack of the main components are the same as the GLC and therefore the EQC can be produced in series on the same assembly line. A great advantage with regard to the flexibility of production, for a car that aims to be sold in many thousands of specimens. From the GLC are resumed only some components of the suspension, a quadrilateral deformable front and multi-link behind, and parts of the cockpit, such as the central tunnel and some commands. In spite of the significant weight, around 2,500 kilograms, of which 650 for the only batteries, the house decided not to offer the air springs. There are only conventional passive and steel springs. From the Class and SW, however, were resumed the rear self-leveling suspensions, which maintain flat the trim even when it is fully loaded. In fact, they have confided to us, German technicians, these were mainly put to pass a type approval test in South Korea, where a minimum height is required from the ground in all conditions. Normally there are 13 centimeters of space between asphalt and mechanics, and that it involves the rejection if the car passes over a wooden board with the default dimensions touching it with the bottom. 2020 Mercedes EQC engine specs. 2 engines and 400 HP to move the Mercedes EQC. We think 2 electric motors, one between the front wheels and one between those behind. The first takes care of pulling the car under normal driving conditions but, when the maximum power is required or the bottom offers little adhesion, the rear one intervenes. Almost identical, only the copper windings inside them change. They dispense approximately 300 kilowatts, equal to just over 400 HP. As the power, even the official performance and autonomy are still being defined, but the technicians of Mercedes have told us about 5 seconds to go from 0 to 100 km per hour and a goal of at least 400 km walkable with a single charge. The battery is assembled in Germany, with cells produced in Asia, in a company controlled by the same Mercedes and has a capacity of at least 70 kWh. The design of the future electric SUV 2020 Mercedes EQC will be inspired by the Generation EQ concept, exhibited at the 2016 Paris Motor Show, photo above, while the platform used should be the new MEA, modular electric architecture. For the electrical system, it is assumed the adoption of a battery pack of at least 70 kWh, sufficient to guarantee an autonomy of approximately 480 km. As for the engine, it is thought that Mercedes will propose different levels of power with the top version capable of delivering about 300 kilowatts, that is around 400 HP, and to accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in a time less than 5. The EQC, as mentioned, should debut in 2019, although for marketing you will probably have to wait for 2020. Recall that model is part of the Mercedes plan that involves the introduction of 10 electric cars by 2025. The final product of the electric SUV presently can't seem to be uncovered, so the reservations, 2019 NOK/$2,500 USD, are completely refundable now. The intrigue is clearly so high, however, that the reservations are constrained to one for every individual. What we have traveled a few kilometers from passengers is one of the 200 prototypes and pre-production specimens of the Mercedes EQC that have been set up for development, practically definitive in mechanics, but still to be developed for as regards the finishes and the precision of the fittings. Although covered with thick sheets, the dashboard was very similar to that of the concept EQ exhibited at the Paris Motor Show last autumn, elegant and modern, with original pink gold finishes on the vents and other components. Instead of the dashboard, we found two screens flanked by 10.251, equipped with the refined multimedia system bucks that debuted on the new Class A. The batteries integrated into the floor, then, do not subtract space, for adults travel very comfortable. 2020 Mercedes EQC vs Tesla Model X. Unlike the Tesla Model X, which does everything to amaze from the doors that open upwards, the Mercedes EQ wants to be normal. The bizarre solutions are banned and more than on performance as well, it focuses on comfort and being a car exploitable every day. From the passenger seat, the springing has seemed to us of quality, as well as the soundproofing. A feature, this, not discounted on electric cars since there is no engine noise to cover that of rolling the tires or the rustling. Anyone who has ever been on an electric car knows what to expect, marching in silence and a powerful acceleration without delays. The two motors deliver the maximum torque already at 0 RPM and, lacking the gearbox, there are no loss of power or delays of response in the climbs as on conventional cars. Like many other battery-powered cars, the paddles behind the steering wheel are used to regulate the amount of engine braking, i.e. the energy recovery in release. According to the technicians, however, the most efficient way of driving is to let everything decide to the car. It varies the intensity of the recovery dynamically, even reading the road ahead on the maps of the navigator. Thanks.